Howdy everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I take this summer fall arrangement and transform it into this Christmas arrangement. Alright, in order to transform my arrangement, I'm going to be adding 3 flameless battery operated candles. I happened to purchase this set at a store called At Home and I paid $20 for them. You can find battery operated candles at stores such as the Dollar Tree. I will also be adding some Christmas greenery. So I have this lovely pine and holly bush here that I purchased at a store called At Home. I paid $4 for this. Of course, you can find lovely greenery at the Dollar Tree or stores like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or even Walmart. To add an extra touch of red, I'm going to be using these little berries. I think they're called hawthorn berries. I purchased this particular stamp from Hobby Lobby. It was regular $4.99. I paid half off for this. So this is a completely optional, or you may choose to use some poinsettias if you prefer. I will also be using some ribbon for a bow. Now I happen to have this bow that I created for a video on how to make handmade bows. So I'm going to go ahead and reuse this into my arrangement by taking it apart. And one more thing, because we are using battery operated candles, we don't want to forget to get some nice fresh batteries. Now my arrangement won't be on constantly and it's only going to be for the holidays, so I went ahead and I grabbed some inexpensive batteries that my candles happen to ask for. For my tools, I will be using my wire cutters, scissors, and I'm going to be putting it all together with my hot glue gun as usual, so I'll make sure I have plenty of glue sticks here ready. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to remove anything that's summer and fall from our arrangement. So I'll start removing the bird nest and the flowers. I do want to reuse the greenery, but I'm going to go ahead and remove some of it because I will be putting candles here in the center. Alright, so I've removed all of the greenery and I've just put it aside here. I will be using some of it, if not most of it. And I'm going to take this moss that I put in here and remove as well so that I can make sure it's not in the way of my placement of my candles. Okay, the other moss that I have on the sides, I'm going to go ahead and leave it in here. And I'm going to go ahead and leave these bits of greenery in here as well. I'm just going to spread out the moss here on the sides here and leave that also in there. What I want is a nice clear space right here where I'm going to place my candles. Alright, so I have placed all the batteries in my candles to make sure that they are all working, and they are working perfectly fine. They turn off on and off at the bottom here, so that's super easy. So we're not going to want to glue them down so that we can then lift them up and turn them on and off. Now the neat thing about this set that I happened to purchase, it does come with a little remote control, so I can turn them off and then turn them back on again. So that's a pretty little neat feature, so you might want to look for something like that. Otherwise, like I said, we're not going to glue these down or anything like that because we want to be able to lift them up. Now one thing that I did not show you when I was showing you my supplies, because I just realized that this is something that we could do and I've done before, is I've taken these greenery pins right here. See that? And what I've done is once I've decided where my candles are going to go, and because this is going to be a centerpiece, I don't want them all necessarily facing the same way. So I've kind of turned these to the sides like that, or you could do one kind of sideways, you know, and one facing back this way. However you want to do it, okay? So I'm just going to turn them a little bit like that, okay? And now I'm going to take these greenery pins and I'm going to insert these right on the side of each of these into the styrofoam that's in my container. So you want to make sure there's some styrofoam in there, okay? If not, go ahead and glue some in case you didn't have an arrangement that you're undoing like I am. Okay, so we're going to push these in, but we're not going to push them all the way in. We want to give them a little bit of a wall here for the candle. So I'm going to put one here and one on the opposite side. I can move this one out of the way for a little bit. So that tells me the placement, which is right there. And then I'm going to put one at the front and one at the back. And I don't have to glue these pins in. You can if you don't want them to pop out on you accidentally. But that's what I'm going to do to all three of them is put 4 of these pins around so that I have a little area here that I know not to put any greenery on, and then also when I pick them up to turn them off and turn them back on, I know exactly where to place them in case something, a little branch happens to move in the way. You move it out of the way, but you can clearly see the pins and insert that back in. So I'll be back so we can get to decorating this beautiful arrangement. Alright, so before I go on to the next step, I do want to mention something. If for some reason you cannot find these greenery pins to do what I'm doing, you can use some paper clips or even just some thick wire that you can bend into a U shape and then push that in. That'll help you mark the spots for your candles. Now I'm going to prepare my greenery bush by cutting all the stems off at their longest point. Right now I don't know what length I'm going to need, so I'm just going to cut them at the very bottom of the stems. And I'm going to do the same thing with these berries. Alright, so I'm going to start by decorating my arrangement with my pine and holly. So I'm going to take these 2 stems that happen to have a pine cone like that. They don't have to be exactly the same, but take some nice long stems like this, and we're going to put them at the very end here. Now, this is a little too long, so I'm going to have to trim my stem a little bit here. But I'm going to give it enough of a stem here so that leaf doesn't go into the arrangement. Or rather into the styrofoam. And I'm going to push it down kind of at a bit of an angle here. And then I can just bend it downward a little bit. Now if I have to move some of these greenery stems and adjust them, I'll do that right there. And that's where I want that. I'll trim the other one and do the same on the other side. Okay, so now I want some greenery on each side of the larger candle, so I'm going to take this one. Now, I don't want my greenery to be taller than my candles, so I'm actually going to take this one and cut right above that bottom leaf, right there, and then I'll cut this to make it a shorter stem. So now I have 2 pieces here that I can use. Alright, so now that I'm putting the other stem that looks just like it and I've cut it, I'm going to do the opposite. I put this one to face this way. I'm going to put this other one to face the other direction, or the opposite direction. And then that extra little leaf on each side like that. Alright, so I'm going to continue filling it in with more of my holly and little pine bits here that have these little berries. Whatever I placed over here, I'm going to place opposite. Again, the opposite. And then the little bits that I cut off from the bottom. Now I want some of these little berries here in the front, and then the other side of my candle, and the greenery bits that I took off of them, opposite of each other. Alright, so I do have 2 stems that are left over, but they're not the same, so I don't have 2 more of the pine or 2 more of this one to do opposite, you know, to balance everything out. So I'm going to save these for something else. Now I'm going to take the greenery that I had first removed from here, and I can go ahead and fill in little empty spots. So I'm going to take these longer bits and I'm just going to shorten them up a little bit, just like these bits here. And then I can go ahead and start filling in where I don't have any of the Christmas greenery. And again, I'm going the opposites. And I want to push it down far enough where it doesn't come over the height of my candles. Now before I fill it up with any more greenery, I can take the moss that I took out and just tear out some small pieces and tuck them in wherever I see styrofoam. Just spread it out. Now once you have filled it up with enough of the moss, if you happen to have that to fill it in, you can go ahead and add more greenery if you like, or just leave it as is. I'm just going to add a couple of these long bits on each end just to give my arrangement a little more length. Alright, so I'm satisfied with the amount of greenery that I have in here so far. So I'm going to now go ahead and create a couple of little bows or just some little ribbon bits to put inside my arrangement. Alright, so as I said, I was going to take apart this pre-made bow that I already happen to have. Otherwise, you'll start off with some fresh ribbon. Now, I happen to have this bow where it's all one piece except for this one little tail. So I'm going to use that little tail and then the other tail as part of it. But this time, instead of making all these loops, I'm just going to make a couple of them. And I'm going to go a little bit smaller, about so big. And if you have to, if you're recycling ribbon like I am, you can go ahead and iron it and that'll get rid of all the little wrinkles. Mine is fine. Make another little loop there and then I can trim it right here. So this is where I'm going to use my scissors. And I can take the existing chenille stem and just cut a little piece off of it. I don't need very much. And just twist that. I'll take the little tail and trim that as well. And we'll just make a bow like this. Okay, so now I want to make another one. So I have my little wire ready. I'm going to use this little tail. So I'm just going to attach this end here. Create a little loop. Twist and pinch. Create another loop. Twist and pinch right there. Twist the ribbon or the wire on it. And then cut a length for a short little tail. Alright, so now I have two of those little bows. And the remainder of my ribbon, I'm going to go ahead and save it. I don't think I'm going to use it in this particular arrangement, but if I do, I have it on the side here just in case. Alright, so now I'm going to put the bows into my arrangement. There's two ways I can do that. I can add some hot glue in onto my bow and then just kind of glue it onto any of the greenery in there. And then once it's dry, I can arrange my little tail to kind of pop out of it. And I want to put a bow on each side. The other thing that I can do is because I have these two little ends here, I can take a greenery pin just like that and wire it. Just lay it right between them. Get the little twisty bit to go over the center of it and then just twist this nice and tight so that that gets caught in there. And then you can put some glue on the little ends here and tuck it in, or just tuck it in just like that without gluing in the position that you like. And then puff up your little bow just like that. And I'll do the same on the other side. Alright, so everything that I've done, where I've tucked in all the Christmas greenery and all the regular greenery that I had, and then of course the bow, you can use your hot glue gun to insert all of that, which is normally what I do because I don't like things to easily pop out of things, and then I can just pull them apart once I want to redo my arrangement. And if I have to replace my styrofoam, I'll replace my styrofoam. But I didn't use it as you saw. I just inserted things in there, which is what you can do. But now I'm going to go ahead and add these little berries, and I'm actually going to cut them into smaller little stems because I feel like these pieces here are too big, so I want pieces like this one. And now I am going to use my hot glue gun just to put a little bit of glue on the stems, and then I can insert them wherever there's some little leaves just to make sure that little stem gets stuck on the leaf. just like that, and keep inserting them as I go along. And I'm going to follow my rule of wherever I put something, I will put another on the opposite side. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've placed enough of these little berries on my arrangement that I feel that it is sufficient. So I'm going to go ahead and put whatever I have leftovers out of the way so that I can use it for something else. So there we go. I have completed my Christmas arrangement. And there we go. I've transferred an arrangement that was for summer and fall into something for Christmas or the holidays, whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to carry it on into winter and do a winter theme. Now, if you have a smaller arrangement that you're going to redo, just put your candles a little bit closer. Maybe just use 2 candles or 1. This is just an idea to show you how you can take something that you already have existing in your home and transfer it for the season. All right, so this is complete. And again, it's a great idea to show you how you can place candles in here without having to glue them down, especially since you have to take them in and out of your arrangement and turn them on and off by using those little greenery pins to mark their spot. Or like I said, use some paper clips. Be creative. And that is it, everyone. I hope that you really enjoyed this. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that YouTube will give me a big old thumbs up. And leave a nice comment down below and let me know what you think of my arrangement and if you're going to do something similar. Now, if you have something to share and you want all of us to see it, you can follow me at Trisha's Creations on Facebook, and you can actually upload your picture of your project or even a recipe if that's what you prefer to do. All right, I'm going to thank everybody for subscribing, and if you haven't done so, please hit that red subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, and that'll notify you of when I put up videos on YouTube, and I do that twice a week. And this month of November, I'm finishing it off with doing all Christmas crafts. And I think I have a couple of little projects that I can carry on into December for the holidays. And I also plan on maybe doing, showing you how I do a little bit of the decorating around my home. So I hope that you look forward to that. And share on your social medias, everyone. Be kind, be respectful towards each other. Share the love. It's really important at this time now. And as always, enjoy.